One, it's Jared here again. I'm sitting with Paul Magnus. He is the creator and he's one of the professors at Briarcrest of the it's called the
Leadership
Management
management.
program there. He's here at Lakeview and he is facilitating a process here as Lakeview is looking for a new pastor. And he sat down with us just to talk a little bit about some of the things that he does and some of the things that he believes about church health. So tell us a little bit about what you're doing here at Lakeview. What kind of process have you got them engaged with here?
Well, I have an adapted appreciative inquiry process that I've used now in multiple settings. Churches size 50 through, I think right now I have a church in Toronto that's about 1,600 people, and Lakeview is somewhere between that. I have one in Regina that was at 800, is at 200, and would like to return. So the range of size is fairly significant. What I'm doing at Lakeview is I see myself as a facilitator helping teach process and leave process behind. The process that I'm actually using and coaching through is appreciative inquiry. And some people ask, well, why appreciative inquiry? It's a fairly transferable program.
Okay.
Now, in addition to using appreciative inquiry, I've tried to show how to use and have adapted and changed the appreciative inquiry to work well within a well-aligned system. So one of the things we do is we make sure the system is aligned. And why I like this process is if you have a church of 50, of course, you're dealing with one group. If you have a church of 500, then typically you deal with the board initially, and then you move the board to co-facilitate with the congregation. Now you're at table groups. The only difference is how you divide up. So you're at table groups of about 10. I find that works about the best. And then you have those contributions coming and reports given from the tables.
Okay.
And the approach that I have used is I will co-facilitate with the congregation because I want them to see the board chair as the link to the board. And so when I finish, they trust that person as much as they trust the process that I use. So it's called appreciative inquiry and highly adapted. I use a lot of stuff from Holy Conversations and other strategic planning processes.
Okay. Okay. So you saying that this isn't just for big churches. This could work in smaller churches too.
I've done this in churches of size about 50. I have done it in churches 250. I've done it in churches 400,
Mm-hmm.
5, 8, 1,000, and 1,500. And of course, everyone's different. Honestly, everyone's different
Sure.
because you are facilitating to grow the capacity and get clarity of direction and
Mm-hmm.
future so you know what you want a leader to lead.
Okay.
And,
Okay.
and that's one of the issues.
Okay. Okay. So so why do you engage in a process? Why are you even invited? Isn't it good enough just to read your Bible and pray? Like why do we need consultants and facilitators like you are to come in and help us?
I say no when I'm asked to come as a consultant because consultants typically write a proposal, give it to the context, and say, do this and you shall live.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a facilitator, which means that I do my very best to draw the best from the people who are in the context who know best. So it's contextualized. And I believe actually that all should be praying. So we have some table prayer. All should be reading their Bible. Wonderful, critical. But shouldn't every last person be hearing from God on
Mm.
that journey? So what what I think of in the appreciative inquiry, why I like it, is it's so flexible and so adaptable so that you can actually assume that God's speaking to all the people and invite them to speak to each other. And what happens when people are in their table groups is they begin to understand the mammoth task of leadership. Because
Okay.
as they go around the circle, they say, I thought everyone believed the way I did.
Right.
And these are 10 people at work
Right.
together, and the multiplicity of ideas that come, they say, what do we do with this mess now? So
Mm-hmm.
then the board will work on that. So the appreciative inquiry starts with the question, so, you know, define yourself now. What is true? And then it's very deliberate and very intentional to move from what is true now to getting people to face forward to a different future. You can't change the past anyway. What's the pattern that brought us here? What's true now? But then we face them forward and we say, okay, start dreaming. But in the midst of all of that, what do you love? What do you long for? We talk about values. League entry values would be, if your denomination, to join the denomination, you require those. So it's not outside denominational context. If they're in a denomination, I say, that's your league entry value. If they have core values, buy them, don't fight them. And then at the next level, you're dealing with the local context. And that's what we're working now. We've done that at Lakeview. And today we're getting feedback on that. So I start with insight, open, blank page, just questions. Then the board will make sense of, come back, and then they'll get feedback on their interpretation of what has been given. But you move through the process of what is to what is longed for and loved, which is the value piece. Then I like to go to what could be, just dreaming. Because it doesn't cost anything to dream. But you get people to put their ideas on the table and you know what their really big dreams are. Then we go to what should be. And finally, but what should be, you have to become selective. That's the hardest work in the journey. And then what will be. Now, I always say to people, don't settle on what will be until you select your leader. So there's a pause in there to select a leader. Because you see, as I see it, what we have misunderstood is we think that the leader should come with a vision and cast that vision and everyone should run for it. We're living in the 21st century, not the 20th. In the 20th century, that worked well. In the 21st century, and why I believe in this system instead of other strategic planning processes is, in most of the strategic planning process and interventions, it was assumed, actually, that the leader would bring it. I'm assuming that the context has it, and the leader actually brings the know-how on the how. So the how is what will be. What will be. So I call them the action king. They're the people who build a team to determine how to do big dream. And that's the piece. I think if you miss that, you hire wrongly, because you hire people to 21st century environments where they want what they want already, and you create a clash.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for your time. Appreciate you talking about this. And I'm going to just put some appreciative inquiry information and resources at the bottom of this video. So if you want to see that, I'll have some web links and you can look into this more. So, Paul, thank you very much for talking to us.
Pleasure.
Thank you.
Hopefully something was beneficial.
I think there's lots here. Great. Thank you.